Hi, I'm Clarice Tinsley. Welcome to Jury Service. You are about to take part in an essential element of our democracy today. In a moment, we're going to give you a look at some of the things you might encounter. But first, let's hear from a few former jurors about their experiences.
I think jury service is important in setting the standards of society, and we get to say what we think and how we feel about how our country is being operated.
I think everyone, when they get their summons, is like, why me? So, but really, I wanted to be here and do this.
I really enjoyed listening to the attorneys and finding out how our legal system is really run.
I mean, I find it interesting. I've always been curious, and I've always wanted to know what it was like to be in a jury. So I was kind of excited. I mean, there's a part of me that was excited.
And so I started to feel part of something bigger than myself.
I think it's important for us to participate in the kinds of activities that our Constitution allows us to as citizens, and to protect our freedoms by participating in events like voting and like participating in a jury. And you know, none of us knows what's ahead of us in our own lives, and it may be that one day we'll be on the other side and we'll appreciate how much consideration goes into being a juror.
We appreciate your participation and service here today. You have reported to jury service at either the George Allen or the Frank Crowley Courts Building. The right to trial by jury is one of our most fundamental rights in the state of Texas, guaranteed by both the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the state of Texas. The right to trial by jury is the cornerstone of our system of justice, and you have been called upon to play a vital role. A jury trial allows people involved in disputes of all kinds to have the benefit of the wisdom and judgment of the entire community. Your voice matters in the Texas justice system. We thank you for your service, and we know that you will take your responsibility as a juror seriously. You have been selected at random from the people of Dallas County for service in the Dallas County courts. However, our law provides that not all persons are qualified to serve as jurors. This means some of you may not be eligible to serve. Pay careful attention to the disqualifications which are listed on the back of your jury summons. If a person who is by law disqualified to serve as a juror were chosen to sit on a jury, it is very possible that the case would have to be retried. This would be costly and could be very traumatic to the parties involved. Please pay careful attention to this presentation to determine if you are eligible to serve.
If any of the following apply, you cannot be a juror. Please darken the appropriate box under disqualifications on the back of your jury summons. Sign it and present the form to a member of the jury room staff. You will then be free to leave. Do not leave until the jury room staff clears you to leave. Disqualifications include the following. You are not at least 18 years of age. You do not live in Dallas County. If you make this selection, your voter registration will be deleted in Dallas County. If you are unsure if your residence is in Dallas County, please check with the jury room staff. You are not a United States citizen. You are not of sound mind. You cannot read or write. If you are unable to read or write, please remain seated. Once you are assigned to a court, you will have an opportunity to explain your situation to the judge in that court. You must be excused by the judge. The jury services staff is unable to excuse you. You have served as a juror in any of the Dallas County courthouses, including Frank Crowley, George Allen, or the Henry Wade Juvenile Justice Center within the last 6 months. You have been convicted of a felony or any level of theft offense, including theft by check. Convicted includes a final conviction where you paid a fine or went to jail or prison, or where you pleaded guilty or a judge found you guilty and you were given probation or community supervision. You now have felony charges or theft charges pending against you. Having charges pending against you includes being on deferred adjudication or probation, whether or not you are required to report to a probation officer. This does not include deferred adjudication for traffic offenses. If you have been arrested for a felony or any theft offense and released from jail, and you do not know the status of the charges, or you are unsure if you have a conviction, please check with the jury room staff. In addition, Texas law provides certain exemptions from jury service. These exemptions are listed on the back of your jury summons. If you qualify for one of these exemptions, you can still serve on a jury, and we urge you to waive these exemptions. However, if you do wish to claim an exemption, please darken the appropriate box on the back of your jury summons, sign it, and present the form to a member of the jury room staff. The exemptions include: you are over 70 years of age. You have legal custody of a child under the age of 15, and jury service would leave that child without adequate supervision. You are a full-time high school or college student attending classes during normal business hours. You are the primary caretaker of a person who is an invalid, and jury service would leave that person without adequate care. For future reference, if you are disqualified or wish to claim an exemption, you may return your summons by mail or log on to juryservices.dallascounty.org. You do not have to appear in person. If you have a physical or mental condition that makes it impossible for you to serve as a juror, please see a member of the jury room staff at this time to obtain information about how to submit such a claim. We recognize that some of you may have family or business plans that make jury service today difficult for you. Unfortunately, Texas law does not allow a juror to be released from jury duty because of such difficulties. However, the law does allow us to reschedule a juror as long as the juror returns for jury service. If you need to reschedule jury service from today to another date, please see a member of the jury room staff at this time. We do not know how long the case you may be assigned to will take. If you are assigned to a court where the trial will last longer than 5 days, the judge in that court will give you an opportunity to discuss any problems you may have with a longer trial. However, there is no guarantee that you can be excused. If you are qualified to serve as a juror, it is very important that you have completed the juror affidavit questionnaire, either online or at the computers available here at the courthouse, or you may detach it from your jury summons and return it by mail at least 10 days prior to your reporting date. Make sure that your address is correct to ensure that you receive your check for service.
If there is anyone who has not had their juror summons form scanned by one of the jury room staff upon check-in, please see a member of the jury room staff at the conclusion of this video presentation. If you do not have your summons form scanned, we will not know that you're here, and you may receive a contempt citation for failure to appear. Please pick up a Dallas County Juror handbook located at the entrance to the jury room. These contain additional information on your jury service. You may do that at the conclusion of this video presentation. Certificates of service for employment purposes will be issued on completion of your jury service. Parking validation for tickets issued by the covered garages operated by the county is located on your jury summons form. If you do not have your jury summons form, please see a member of the jury room staff prior to 4 p.m. for parking validation. Please present the validation ticket along with your parking ticket to the garage attendant upon exiting the parking garage. Validated parking tickets entitle jurors to a reduced parking rate, as set by the Dallas County Commissioners Court. There is no free parking.
Let's discuss more specifically what you can expect during your jury service. The trial courts will place their orders for the jury panels they need today. You, the jurors, will be grouped randomly by your juror numbers into the panels requested by the trial courts. The juror number is located in the red box in the right-hand corner at the top of your jury summons. Your juror number is the entire number, not a portion of the number. Please do not be alarmed if you have a high number. If you do not have your original summons and you do not know your juror number, please speak with a member of the jury room staff at the conclusion of this video presentation. The jury room staff will call each group of jurors by juror number. When the panel that includes your number is called, you will go to the bench in the front of the room to retrieve your juror badge from the box. You will then receive instructions on how to get to your assigned court. Once you arrive at your selected courtroom, you will wait outside until the trial court is ready for jury selection or voir dire.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Tom Irvin. I'm the bailiff in this courtroom. I'll be with you today. What we're going to do the first part of the morning is voir dire.
Prior to voir dire, you will have been placed under oath either in the central jury room or in your assigned courtroom to respond truthfully to questions posed to you by the court or the parties. Once the court is ready, the bailiff will call you into the courtroom and the parties will begin jury selection. The purpose of voir dire is to select a jury that can judge the facts of the case fairly and impartially and apply the law given by the judge. In other words, to select jurors who can be fair to all parties in the case. The parties will be given an opportunity to ask you questions concerning your ability to be fair and impartial.
Does anyone recognize the attorneys in front of you? Can you all be fair and impartial?
Ladies and gentlemen, I am now going to call a list of names of individuals who will serve on the jury. When I call your name, please come forward and have a seat in the jury box.
At the end of jury selection, the selected jurors are announced and they are seated in the jury box. These jurors are then sworn in by the presiding judge.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am now going to administer to you the oath that you take as members of the jury. If you would, stand and raise your right hand. Do you and each of you solemnly swear or affirm that you will render a true verdict according to the laws that may be submitted to you in charge by the court? If you do, say I do.
I do.
Thank you. Have a seat. Ladies and gentlemen on the back benches, I'm sure it's clear to you at this point that you're not going to serve on the jury in this case. I want you to understand that you have played a significant role in a process that has resulted in these 12 individuals sitting in the jury box who are going to decide the disputed facts in this case. Your participation this morning was a great public service and we appreciate you being here. At this point, you're free to go, ladies and gentlemen.
Any persons not selected will be given instructions as to whether they must return to the central jury room. Let us take a moment now to introduce you to the people who work in the courtroom. A judge presides over every trial. The judge will oversee the case, hear and rule upon legal arguments made by the attorneys, and instruct the jury about the law. In a civil case, the party initiating the suit, a plaintiff, brings the case to court, with or without the assistance of counsel. The defendant in a civil case is the person being sued. In a criminal case, the person being charged with a crime is also known as the defendant. Usually, a court reporter keeps the official record by recording every word spoken during the trial. The bailiff is in the courtroom to keep order, maintain security, and to help the judge and jury as needed. After the jury is selected, the trial begins. The parties are given the opportunity to make opening statements, during which the attorneys may give an overview of what they believe the evidence will show. Following opening statements, each party is given the opportunity to present evidence in the form of documents, photographs, and other relevant evidence, as well as witness testimony.
You may call your first witness.
Your Honor, I call Lori Peterson.
Ms. Peterson, please approach the witness stand. Ms. Peterson, would you raise your right hand? You solemnly swear or affirm that you will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Have a seat. Ms. Woodson, you may proceed with your questions.
Thank you, Your Honor. Please state your name for the record.
Lori Ann Peterson.
Ms. Peterson, are you a witness to the events that occurred on the night of July 14th?
I am.
After each witness is presented and questioned by a party, the opposing party will have the opportunity to cross-examine the witness.
Mr. Phillips, cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Peterson, am I correct that you wear contact lenses?
When the plaintiff's attorney in a civil case or the prosecutor in a criminal case finishes presenting their evidence, the defense is then given the opportunity, but is not required to present evidence.
Ms. Woodson, you may call your next witness.
Your Honor, we have no further witnesses. We rest our case.
Thank you, counsel. Mr. Phillips, you may call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. The defense calls John Maxwell.
During the presentation of the evidence, the attorneys may object to various testimony and evidence. If the judge concludes that the evidence or questions should be allowed, the judge will overrule the objection.
Ms. Peterson, is it true you were convicted of theft?
Your Honor, I object.
Objection overruled.
If, however, the judge sustains the objection based upon the law and rules of the evidence, the judge will disallow the jury from hearing the evidence.
Ms. Peterson, have you ever been arrested at any other time in your life?
Objection, Your Honor.
Objection sustained. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'm going to ask you to excuse yourselves while the attorneys and I take up a matter outside of your presence. If you would, at this time, follow the bailiff to the jury room.
All rise for the jury, please.
From time to time, the jury may be asked to leave the courtroom so that the judge and attorneys may discuss a matter outside of the presence of the jury. Not all legal matters can be ruled upon in the presence of the jury. Although this may be frustrating to you, it is sometimes necessary. During your service, it is important that whenever you are recessed from the court for lunch, a break, or overnight, you do not discuss the case with anyone, including your family, your friends, or fellow jurors.
So what do you think about the case so far?
I thought the judge told us not to talk about it.
This also means not visiting and posting information about the case online via social networking sites such as Facebook, Twitter, and MySpace. It is important that you avoid the internet, newspapers, television, radio, and news programming that could include a story about the trial in which you are sitting as a juror.
It is also very important that you do not do any independent research on the case or on any of the attorneys or parties involved in the case. You are only allowed to consider the facts as presented to you in the courtroom. If anyone tries to discuss this case with you, notify the judge immediately.
Mr. Phillips, do you have additional witnesses?
No, Your Honor, the defense rests.
Thank you, counsel.
After both sides finish presenting the evidence, the judge instructs the jury.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this case is submitted to you on questions about the facts, which you must decide from the evidence you have heard in this trial.
The judge's instructions are the law of the case, and you must follow them during deliberations. After the instructions are given, each side is given the opportunity to present closing arguments. During closing arguments, each side sums up their case and gives the reasons that the jury should decide in their client's favor. After closing arguments, the jury begins deliberations in the jury room in order to reach a verdict. Once the jury reaches a verdict, they will return to the courtroom with their verdict.
Be seated, please. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, have you reached a verdict?
Yes, we have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Sheriff. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I've read your verdict.
Dallas County was one of the first metropolitan areas in the nation to implement a one-day, one-trial system. This means if you're not chosen as a juror today, your service is complete, unless the trial court instructs you to return. If you are seated on a jury, You will serve on that case until a verdict is reached. Then your jury service will be complete. In America, both the right to vote and the duty to serve on a jury are integral parts of our rights and duties as citizens. You are here to exercise your right and your responsibility as a United States citizen, and you are here to participate directly in the operation of your government. Without your willingness to serve, we could not guarantee every person's constitutional right to a jury trial.
Our trial system, without the people coming in every day to set up and be the jurors and everything, the country just doesn't work without this judicial system that we'd have.
This is somebody's life or somebody's job, or you got to take it serious. Because I tell you one thing, I didn't take it serious till I got in there. I told them I don't even know what I'm doing here. And then once I got in there, I said, yeah, this is a good thing. I mean, this is my first time to ever be on a jury.
This is about evidence, it's about what's being presented and not what's out there or what else could be. You know, you have to be careful not to draw too much conclusion or inferences into what's being presented. That would be brought on from your own background or your own feelings or your own beliefs.
Jury of your peers, it's people just like you and me. So I think that's important as far as, you know, getting a fair trial.
You have to be an excellent listener. You have to be impartial, and a lot of times, and I'm one that make quick judgments of people.
And everybody has a lot of different opinions, but we can work together as one. And I believe it's good to have your peers doing that.
You are very important to us, and we want your jury service to be as convenient and comfortable as possible. Please, let us know what we can do to serve you better. On behalf of the judges and citizens of Dallas County, we thank you for your service here today. Jury Day. It's a privilege to serve.